It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. On this, the 26th day of December, the day after Christmas. Glad to have you with me. And I'm really, I'm not counting on a huge audience today because I know people are all still busy with the Christmas holidays and festivities and so forth, so that's okay. And there's not the greatest news day in the world either. But anyway, glad you're with me this morning on Friday, Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast, coming to you from my studio in Forest, Virginia, brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scootaround, and by Chillie's Cruises. In the headlines today, folks, the stories we're going to be covering this morning, the lead story is a special anniversary cruise. Special anniversary cruise. Also today, Southwest adds Nonstops from Hawaii to Las Vegas. Julbilee's last-minute embarkation change. Evacuation from the world peace. Also today, a federal judge backed Hawaii's new cruise tax. Rising U.S.-Venezuela tensions raise cruise concerns. And first class for JetBlue. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today is National Candy Cane Day. Not sure why they made it today as opposed to yesterday or any other day. How can you not like peppermint candy, which is what candy canes are made of? This day in history, in 1941, President Roosevelt signs a bill establishing the fourth Thursday in November as Thanksgiving. I think it's interesting that Thanksgiving was established the day after Christmas, but that's the way it was. If you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. All right, just a reminder on the February cruises coming up. There will be no shows on February 6th or February 23rd, as those are going to be travel days for me, and time limits involved. We're just not going to have time to do a show. So we're going to take those 2 days off, and probably will be made up for during the 2-week cruises on the Grandiosa. I hope to continue with my regular schedule of shows other than that, with things like interviews and so forth, that I'll do right there from the Grandiosa. So, but anyway, we'll have to play that by ear, and a lot of that's going to be dependent on the Wi-Fi and so forth once we get on the ship. All right, so one little thing to discuss, not to actually discuss, but to mention, and that's, of course, Eli. Eli went to No Name Bar, actually day before yesterday, and the girls, Alma and Carmen, send their greetings from No Name. Of course, that's in Cozumel. My favorite little bar in Cozumel, even though it's difficult for me to get to. Love them, love the place. They got good food. It's a nice little bar. Of course, it's primarily a bar for cruise of cruise ships. But good place. Enjoy it when I'm there. All right. Because we're a little limited in news this morning, folks, let's go on and we'll knock out the commercial and get started here pretty quickly. So I'll be right back after a quick word from one of our fine network sponsors. All right, so let's get started this morning, folks. Again, sorry that there's just not a great deal of news on airways this morning. Well, we're going to start off with a special anniversary cruise. Nestor, you want to tell us about a special cruise?
Holland America Line is celebrating America's 250th anniversary in 2026. The cruise line is offering a special 7-day America's 250th celebration Stars and Stripes cruise, which will depart on the 4th of July from Boston. Travelers will have a chance to see fireworks from Boston Harbor, attend a 4th of July party in the Lido area, enjoy live music experiences and participate in additional activities like an American-themed scavenger hunt and a cooking demonstration. The cruise also will call at cities that played an important role in U.S. history, including Norfolk, Virginia, and New York for an overnight visit. For more information on the July 4th Zuiderdam cruise from Boston, call Chillie at 434-258-9264.
I've not been on Zuiderdam. Zuiderdam still ranks up one of my 3 or 4 favorite ships. So highly recommend you, if you got the time, highly recommend you trying out this cruise. Zuiderdam's a good ship. Anniversary cruise, gonna have some neat things on board. Anyway, it's well worth taking a look at.
Southwest Airlines will expand flight options to and from the Hawaiian Islands this coming summer. The low-cost carrier has announced new nonstop service between Hilo on the Big Island and one of its ever-expanding operating bases in Las Vegas, taking off on Mondays, Thursdays and Fridays. The new flights will launch August 6, 2026, with westbound travel departing at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time and arriving at 12:35 p.m. local time in Hilo. Meanwhile, eastbound flights will depart Hilo at 8:45 p.m. and arrive in Vegas at 5:10 a.m. Southwest will offer a preview of the new service during the Merry Monarch Festival this spring. Special service will depart Las Vegas at 9:25 a.m. on April 9th, with a return flight leaving Hilo at 9:50 a.m. on April 12th.
And it's change in embarkation.
Carnival Cruise Line has reached out to guests booked on the December 27, 2025 departure of Carnival Julbilee to let them know about embarkation time changes in Galveston. There are no changes to the 7-night Western Caribbean itinerary, but guests will be embarking the ship somewhat later than expected due to essential refueling operations. Carnival Julbilee is powered by liquefied natural gas, which requires specialized refueling procedures. For safety and security, guests may not be embarking the ship until the connections are in place for refueling. This will cause a bit of a delay in embarkation times, but guests will not need to wait until refueling is complete before boarding the ship. As soon as regulations permit, embarkation will begin and there are no overall changes to the cruise terminal check-in or embarkation process. Guests are advised, however, that they will not be able to be accommodated ahead of their revised embarkation timeframe. If guests arrive early, they will be asked to return at the later designated time. Are you planning to visit Anaheim, LA, or Disneyland in the next few months? Get our biggest discounts of the year when you book by January 4, 2026. With pleasant temperatures, fewer crowds, and lower prices, the winter months are some of the best times to visit the LA area. Anaheim and LA rentals are 20% off when you book by the 4th of January 26. Use code SRN11137. Rent now or call 1-888-441-7575.
Nestor, what do you hear about the evacuation from world peace?
Just 9 days into a 107-day global voyage, a guest onboard Pacific World was evacuated from the ship as it sailed near Kauai, Hawaii. Pacific World is owned by Peaceboat, a Japan-based line that operates education and cultural-focused world cruises round-trip from Yokohama. The ship's captain asked for the medical evacuation of a 61-year-old woman suffering from septic shock. It is not clear how the passenger developed sepsis, but her illness was so serious that onboard medical staff determined treatment could not wait until the ship docked in Honolulu. The guest was said to be in stable condition, according to the Coast Guard report.
And how about this federal judge talking about the new Hawaii tax?
A federal judge ruled a new climate change levy can go ahead as planned despite strong opposition and a legal challenge by the cruise industry. The ruling allows for the increase of the transient accommodation tax on hotel stays and vacation rentals. Importantly, it includes a new 11% tax on cruise ship guests for the first time. As diplomatic and military tensions between the United States and Venezuela escalate, cruise passengers are increasingly questioning how the situation could affect sailings in the southern Caribbean, particularly calls to Curaçao. Located just 40 miles north of Venezuela, Curaçao has already felt the effects of nearby military activity. Norwegian Cruise Line confirmed that Norwegian Epic was forced to skip its scheduled December 17, 2025, call to Willemstad due to naval exercises taking place in the region. The 4,070 guest vessel was required to avoid the area for safety reasons. The disruption does not appear to be isolated. Norwegian Sky's January 5 Caribbean sailing will also bypass Willemstad, with the cruise line citing updated port availability as the reason for the change. The situation is raising concern among travelers, particularly given that Curaçao welcomes approximately 600,000 cruise passengers annually and the region is currently in the height of the Caribbean cruise season. Guests booked on upcoming sailings are now wondering whether additional itinerary adjustments could follow. Some cruisers are also keeping a close eye on neighboring destinations, including Aruba and Trinidad, amid fears that continued regional instability could lead to further operational changes across southern Caribbean itineraries.
And in the last story of the day, Nestor, tell us about first class seating on JetBlue.
JetBlue is set to add first class to its domestic routes starting in 2026. The rollout of Mini Mint, or Junior Mint, will offer a recliner-style premium cabin bridging the gap between coach, extra legroom seating and Mint business class offered on select premium routes, with the rollout expected to be installed on Airbus A220s, A320s and A321s. From attending an exclusive jazz concert in New Orleans to sampling world-famous barbecue in Memphis or visiting Mark Twain's childhood home in Missouri, you can discover the best of America's heartland when you join us on board the elegant Viking Mississippi. Unpack once and let us take care of the rest as you immerse yourself in the distinctive music, cuisine and history of this vibrant region. Reserve your Mississippi River voyage today with a $25 deposit to receive free airfare and your choice of bonus savings on select 2026 and 2027 departures. For more information and booking, call 434-258-9264 or email chillie@bookalaska.net.
All right, that actually puts an end to the news portion of today's show. Let's go see if anybody is in the chat room. Let's see here, chat room. All right. Mike's with us. Good morning. Mike says, happy Boxing Day. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, it is Boxing Day, isn't it, Mike? Thank you. Bob's with us, says, good morning, gang. Have a great weekend. Hot Air Tom is here. Top story today. Katie boards for her cruise. Yes, Katie is probably currently standing in line, getting on Adventure of the Seas. One of my favorite ships. I rate Adventure of the Seas right up there, like with the Zuiderdam. I liked Adventure a lot. Mike says, good morning to everybody. There's Steve. Good morning, Chillie and everybody. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. I agree. Roger's with us down in Jacksonville. Hey, Roger. Gretchen says, good morning from out in Ohio. Hot Air Tom says, I helped Ken get his check-in on MSC Cruise done yesterday, all but the picture. I had to take a picture from my living room. Yeah, I had trouble with the picture too. I'm not sure why, and that's probably the least important thing, because they can do that right in line. They've got the cameras there when you check in. Did you get your boarding pass emailed? No, I have not. I checked in yet, but I have not set the boarding pass up. Port Canaveral is busy today. 6 ships in port with 2 Royal Caribbeans, 2 Disney's, NCL Joy, and Carnival Glory. I'm wondering if Katie is going on Utopia or Adventure. She's going on Adventure. Yeah, Gretchen said the same thing, Adventure. Adventure is doing an 8-day versus Utopia a 3-day. Hardly worth the drive even from Orlando. 8 days sounds good. Yes, it does. And Kenneth says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kenneth. Always glad to see you, my friend. So, and we're looking forward to some activities coming up in the near future with Kenneth. I'm sure Kenneth and I will manage to have a adult beverage or 2 over the 2 weeks that we are on Grandiosa. Getting a big ice storm here now. I did not end up canceling my Norwegian cruise. Oh, I did end up canceling my Norwegian cruise. Sorry about that, Kenneth. And sorry you're having an ice storm too. That's kind of sucks. All right, guys. Sorry that this is kind of an abbreviated show this morning, but that sometimes happens on around holidays. But I would like to thank y'all for being here anyway today on this Boxing Day. That's going to wrap me up for the weekend. So I will be monitoring things should anything happen over the weekend. If not, I'll see everybody back here on Monday. That's it for today, folks. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you on Monday if I don't see you this weekend.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.